Clutch back in the garden, and today we are going to talk about something very, very important, and that is taking care of your plants through defoliation. Now you're probably wondering, what does defoliation mean? Well, if you stick around, I'll gladly tell you. So defoliation means chopping down the plant. No, not really. What it really means is taking off the non-essential leaves to help promote healthy growth in your plant. So some of these leaves you'll find, like some of these down at the bottom, they're just kind of hanging on. Ooh, that was my phone. Wow, that just slid off, but yeah, that'll wake you up. So removing some of the non-essential leaves. So we're not going to remove any of these top leaves up here. We're not going to top. They're doing very well. They're growing nicely. Soon we're going to flip these into flower, and that'll be a new episode of Happy Trees. But these ladies are doing well. We have them growing in strictly cocoa. They need to be re-amended. The soil, they don't have any amendments in it, I'm sorry. Need to make a new nutrient solution batch over there in our reservoir and get these ladies some more feed. The last feeding they had was just straight water. It was dechlorinated water, pH down to 6.4, kind of giving it kind of a flush to get some of the salts out, and we did it that way. But defoliation is where the magic happens. This is where you can get your plant to grow a certain way and get to grow towards the light, because what happens when you take off the leaves on the bottom that are actually feeding the plant will actually shoot up a little bit because it needs more energy from the lights. We're going to keep it simple. This light puts out a lot of energy for your plants. To do that, either you make more leaves or you get taller and get closer to it. So we're going to kind of trick the plant. We're going to take off stuff that is not at a certain height, so that way the plant will grow up kind of nice and even, and then the next step we'll be putting them in a trellis netting. So defoliation is honestly really easy. There's a couple ways you can go about this. You can use scissors, you can use a razor, or you can just use your hands. So normally if I was in a setting where it was a commercial setting environment, you should probably wear gloves. Right now I'm just going to use my bare hands because we're in our own grow. It's just our product, so it's not being shared with anybody. So make sure your hands are clean. Wash my hands off camera. You don't want to introduce anything into the plant because you're actually going to be opening it up. It's like opening a wound on yourself on purpose, just so you can grow taller. So we're going to zoom in just a little bit. So the top of the plant is up here. The leaves down here are not going to be receiving light. If you notice, the plant has made big fan leaves. They do this to get more sunlight, which is their food. Yes, we put nutrients into the soil and into the root system of the plant, but that is not what actually feeds the plant. It's like the building block, but this is what's feeding the plant, the energy coming from the light. But some of these leaves are non-essential. We're going to take off some of these lower ones down here. Like this one right here, this one right here. Let's get down a little bit lower. So these down here in the dark, we're gonna get rid of those. And there's a simple way to get rid of them. You can just pop them off. We like to defoliate when the plant has been fed and has enough water, because wilted leaves are actually kind of spongy, and you can actually just move them kind of easily around, and they will tend, instead of snapping, so like here, a leaf and a stem that's full of water will actually snap pretty easily. If it's dry or wilted, it'll actually be kind of loose and wiry, and you don't really want to trim your plants or defoliate your plants at that point, because you're going to keep them susceptible to pests and actual other microbes that will affect them because they're kind of dried out and weak. So give your plant a good shot at actually having a good defoliation. Start pretty simple, nothing tricky to it. I'll take my hand, put it at the base closest to the main stem on it, and we'll actually snap down in a quick motion. It's a snap down and away. If you have a nail or something like that, or a sharp object, put it in the corner and snap it, and it will just snap right off. So you can take it and actually break it and snap it. It's not difficult. Just take your time. You know, usually from the bottom, you'll have some that will just pull right off and will create a string. That's fine. Just make sure you're not doing around the whole plant, leaving it open to fungus and other stuff that can cause harm. But you want to do this so that the plant will actually start to focus growing upwards instead of growing smaller shoots on the bottom, because it doesn't have to go up towards the light if it can just make other branches lower and make them wider to get more light. Well, we don't want that. We want this plant to grow up to the light, and then we're going to stretch it out, because we don't want to move our light and have to keep on adjusting it for every plant. It's easier on our end just to move the plant up instead of the light down. So right now we're stripping it. So the ones that are closer to the top, even these big fan leaves right here, we're going to take this off. I know some people, it's a debate if you take off this leaf or not that's closest to the top. So this is probably 4 from the top. I still take it off because you'll have growth on the side that can catch up now and get more light, and you'll have less work to do. But then on that note, to make it grow a little bit faster, I'm going to take off some of the smaller leaves around it, because if not, those become nodes as well, and you don't need those, and that's extra work later on down the road. Defoliating is pretty simple. Take your time, pick and choose where you want to defoliate. Like, we're going to take care of this one here. We're going to take care of these lower ones over here, because they're clearly not going to do anything. Right now I'm still using my hand. Yes, I could use scissors, it would probably be a little faster, but we are almost done. And that's it. We defoliated quite a bit. We're going to take off these big fan leaves for airflow as well. Yes, I know. People are going to freak out. Oh man, you shouldn't have taken off that leaf. Yep, it'll grow back. I mean, look at the size of that leaf, that fan leaf. Hand for size. So it's a big fan leaf. That's about 7 inches, 7, 8 inches. Yep, from the base of it all the way up, about 8 inches. Big fan leaf, folks. So, big tip, when you're defoliating, take your time, work from the bottom up, make sure you take care of the stuff closest to the bottom of the pot, because that stuff's not going to get light anyway. So take care of that first, and make sure you're just not leaving it in the dirt. Make sure you're not stripping off big chunks on your plant, and take your time. It's pretty simple. They don't look weird and funky at first, but it does get better with time. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. So don't feel bad. Defoliate, try different ways, and also try different training methods. Sometimes you may want a lot of bush on your plant. So from Clutch here, hi neighbor, stay tuned for the next episode of Happy Trees.